Hello students, welcome back. This video lecture for class 8, chapter number 8, and that is cell structure and function. So as we discussed in previous video lecture about there are millions of living organisms. They are of different shape, size, their organs also vary in shape, size and number of cells, isn't it? So let's study about some of them. So on the basis of the number of the cells, we can divide cells into two categories like multicellular and unicellular organism, isn't it? So we can say what is mean by unicellular. Unicellular, that means single cell. The organism that have only single cell, that means ऐसे organism जिनमें single cell के through ही सारे body के function same performing, right? Like multicellular, isn't it? So here is some example like amoeba. This is the figure of paramecium and here is the example of amoeba. ठीक है? So both are the examples of unicellular organism, the organism which are having single cell, and a single cell organism perform all the necessary functions. Similarly, like multicellular functions like in our body respire, excretes, है ना, grow, reproduces, these all functions are completed by single cell. So such type of organisms are called unicellular organisms. Uni, that means one, and cellular, that means cell. That means the organism that have only single cell. Next we will talk about the multicellular organism. So what are the multicellular organism having more than one cell? ऐसे सारे ऑर्गेनिज्म जिनके पास एक सेल से ज़्यादा सेल होते हैं टू परफॉर्म वेरियस फंक्शन. एज वी नो इन आवर बॉडी there are so many type of function the cells are doing, isn't it? Like respiratory, excretory, reproduction. These all functions are done by different group of cells, isn't it? And what about tissues? What are the tissues? Tissues are the group of tissues make the cells, fine, and further tissue in turn form organs, isn't it? So here we can say on the basis of the number cell, the organisms are divided into two categories: single cellular, unicellular organisms, that means the organism which are having only single cell, and multicellular organisms which are having more than one cell. Fine. So here are some example like monkey, so many animals, fungi, plants, and we people. Man is also example of multicellular organisms. So till here we have completed in previous lecture like what are the shapes, है ना, body में different type के shapes के cells होते हैं and they also are changing the shapes accordingly their function. Next we discussed about on the basis of number we have categorized the organism into two categories, single celled and multicellular. Next we will talk about cell size, isn't it? So we can say the size of the cells in living organism may be as small as millionth of a meter. That means meter के भी millions part करते हैं, है ना, उतने small size के भी cell होते हैं. So if we talk about, that means cells are also varies in size, isn't it? So in animal we can talk that the, as you are able to see here in the figure on the finger, the small mycoplasma is seen. See, this is the mycoplasma. This is the smallest cell on this planet, right? This is the smallest cell on this planet which is called mycoplasma. This is here the figure on the green structure which you are able to see, that is mycoplasma, isn't it? This three green small structure is seen, that is mycoplasma. And if we talk about its length, what is the length? 0.1 micron, isn't it? Its length is 0.1 micron. And if we talk about the largest cells in animals, so that is ostrich egg. That is ostrich egg. This is the figure of mycoplasma, and here is the largest single cell on this earth, that is ostrich egg. And if we talk about its length, so it can be in diameter it can be 17 centimeter diameter, right? Length it can be 17 centimeter largest, long, isn't it? And if we talk about man, है ना, अगर हमारे मैन दैट मीन्स मल्टी सेल्यूलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स की बात कर रहे हैं, हियर वी टॉक्ड अबाउट सिंगल सेल ऑर्गेनिजम्स. सो सिंगल सेल ऑर्गेनिज्म जो सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट साइज का है दैट इज माइकोप्लाज्मा, एंड लार्जेस्ट सिंगल सेल जो सेल है दैट इज ऑस्ट्रिच एग. On this planet we can say largest single cell that is of ostrich egg. And if we talk about in the man's category, so we can say in man's RBCs are the single celled. Okay, sorry, RBCs are very smallest in size, and its size we can say it's 6 to m um. ठीक है, 6 to m 6 to 8 isn't it? Or we can say its diameter 9 into 10 minus 6 मीटर. फाइन, दैट मीन्स इतने स्मॉल साइज के जो हमारे बॉडी में आरबीसीज होते हैं, दैट मीन्स रेड ब्लड सेल्स, उसका डायमीटर की अगर हम बात करें तो इट कैन बी 6 to m un. एंड इफ वी टॉक अबाउट in meters we can say its length is 9 multiplied by 10 minus 6 m, isn't it? So these are the very smallest cells in man's body. And if we talk about the largest cells in man's body, that is nerve cells. As you are able to see here in this figure, these are the nerve cells which are very longest in the man's body, because इनका functions क्या है ना, as you have seen this is the लेंथ में हमें दिख रहा है कि ये कितने लॉन्ग है ना, और इसकी लेंथ कितनी हो सकती है, इट कैन बी अप टू 100 माइक्रोन्स, इट कैन बी अप टू 100 माइक्रोन्स. ओके, और इनका फंक्शन क्या है, ऑब्वियस, टू ट्रांसपोर्ट द मैसेजेस इन होल बॉडी, पूरी बॉडी में मैसेज कन्वे करने का काम कौन कर रहा है, दैट इज नर्व सेल. तो नर्व सेल पूरी बॉडी में वो मूव कर रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स दे आर वेरी लार्जेस्ट इन मल्टी सेल्यूलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स, दे आर इन वेरी लार्ज इन साइज. ओके, so till here we have completed shapes. Okay, in shapes regarding we have discussed that they can be in different shape like elongate, spindle, है ना, then disc like, isn't it, and irregular shapes. There are some organisms also having like WBC in our body, and amoeba is the single cell which is having irregular shape of cell. Fine, that means it will change its cell's shape accordingly its function, accordingly its requirement. Then we discussed about, on the basis of the number, we have classified the organism into two categories, and next we discuss about the size of cells. So till here we have completed shapes, size, number of cells. Fine. Now we will begin the cell structure, isn't it? As the chapter name is cell structure, so we must have the knowledge of what is the basic cell, what is the basic cell structure, है ना, सेल में मेन चीज़ें क्या होती है. प्रीवियसली इन प्रीवियस वीडियो लेक्चर वी हैव डिस्कस रिगार्डिंग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑल्सो, है ना, कि सारे सेल्स में जो भी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं वो सेम ही होते हैं, इजंट इट. सो if we talk about cell structure, so there is the cell is mainly divided into two parts, cell membrane and protoplasm. Fine, cell is divided into two parts. One part is called cell membrane and another part is called protoplasm. Again, protoplasm further divided into two categories, that is cytoplasm and nucleus. Fine, that is cytoplasm and nucleus. So previously we discussed like cell is divided into two parts, that is called cell membrane and protoplasm. Further, protoplasm is divided into two categories, that is cytoplasm and nucleus. So very first point, that is cell membrane. Let us study about it. So what is the cell membrane? Outer covering of the cell. What I am saying? Outer covering of the cell. This green line you are able to see on the सराउंडेड बाय द दिस सर्कल, है ना, जो सर्कल के साइड की बाउंड्री लाइन है, that means outer covering of cell that separate the cell to other cells also, the membrane that is called cell membrane. What is that called? This green line, that is called cell membrane. That means this green line, boundary green line, which is outer covering, the membrane separate cells from the another and also the cell from the surrounding medium. उसके सराउंड में जो भी मीडियम है, उसके सराउंडिंग जो भी सेल्स है, उनसे सेपरेट करने की जो वॉल है, that wall is called cell membrane, isn't it? So except cell membrane, first we discuss about cell membrane, that is the outer covering. This outer covering line is called cell membrane. Except a part of the cell membrane remaining whatever is inside, fine, this white structure, this pink structure, then except this green structure, this all whole body, this all body is called protoplasm. What is that called? This whole structure body is called protoplasm except cell membrane, that is the outer covering of the cell. Clear? Fine. Let's move. Moving further, the next topic, that what is the functions of cell membrane. Okay, what are the functions of the cell membrane? So we can say outer covering of, so first of all, regarding structure, we can say cell membrane, outer covering of the cell, it is present in both plant and animal cell. As we know that plants are also living organisms, isn't it? So plant की बात करें या animal cell की बात करें, दोनों टाइप के organisms में cell membrane compulsory होता ही है, and it is a living thick, thin and delicate membrane. How it is? It is living delicate, right? As you are able to see, this is living and thin delicate membrane. Then it is semi permeable. What is this? The cell membrane is living semi permeable. What is mean by semi permeable? Semi permeable. That means इट इज़ सेमी परमेबल. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? परमेबल मीन्स अलाउ सिलेक्टिव पार्टिकल्स टू पास थ्रू. मतलब ये जो वॉल है, दैट इज सेल मेम्ब्रेन है, वो सिर्फ कुछ ही पार्ट्स को अंदर आने और अंदर से कुछ ही पार्ट्स को सिर्फ सिलेक्टिव बॉडीज़ को ही आने और जाने के लिए अलाउ करती है. ठीक है. सेमी परमेबल दैट मीन्स द लेयर विच अलो द सिलेक्टिव पार्टिकल्स टू पास थ्रू. मतलब कुछ ही पार्ट्स, कुछ ही बॉडीज इस मेम्ब्रेन के थ्रू अंदर जा सकते हैं और कुछ ही बाहर आ सकते हैं. इजंट इट? सो दिस इज कॉल्ड सेमी परमिएबल. सो वी कैन से सेल मेम्ब्रेन इज द सेमी परमिएबल. नेक्स्ट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट, it is made up of lipid and proteins, right? Here, as you are able to see, it is made up of lipid and proteins. What is made up of lipid and proteins? Cell membrane. What is made up of lipid and protein? That is cell membrane is made up of lipid and protein. As you are able to see, here is the figure of प्रोटीन एंड लिपिड इज सीन, राइट. लिपिड और प्रोटीन के जॉइंट से, गैदरिंग से जो लेयर बनता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल मेम्ब्रेन. दैट मीन्स वी कैन से सेल मेम्ब्रेन इज अ लिविंग थिन डेलिकेट मेम्ब्रेन विच इज मेड अप ऑफ लिपिड्स एंड प्रोटीन्स. फाइन. सो विच मेक सेल मेम्ब्रेन. ये जो लिपिड और प्रोटीन का अरेंजमेंट है, बाय विच इट व्हाट इज प्रिपेयर्ड, इट इज प्रिपेयर्ड सेल मेम्ब्रेन. और वी कैन सी दिस इज द अरेंजमेंट ऑफ लिपिड एंड प्रोटीन्स. दिस इज द अरेंजमेंट ऑफ लिपिड एंड प्रोटीन्स. दिस arrangement is especially called fluid mosaic model. What is that called? Fluid mosaic model. Though this is not in your syllabus, but in higher classes you will learn, you will understand about this topic, what is fluid mosaic model. So just now you need to know that the cell membrane is made up of proteins and lipid, and this arrangement of protein and lipid is called fluid mosaic model, isn't it? Moving further, next topic, the functions of cell membrane. So what are the functions of cell membrane? We can say it provides support to the cell. क्या काम कर रहा है cell membrane? Obvious, पूरे cell को support करने का काम सेल मेम्ब्रेन कर रहा है. देन एक्सचेंज ऑफ मटेरियल टेक्स प्लेस एज वी टॉक्ड अबाउट. इसके अंदर को एज वी टॉक लाइक इट इज सेमी परमेबल है ना, मीन्स कुछ ही पार्टिकल्स, कुछ ही थिंग्स, सिलेक्टेड पार्टिकल्स कैन कम पास थ्रू इट. सो ऑब्वियस मटेरियल का भी एक्सचेंज हो रहा है वहाँ पे, है ना. एंड थर्ड थिंग, इट प्रोवाइड शेप टू सेल, मतलब जैसे इसका शेप होगा अकॉर्डिंगली सेल का भी शेप दिखाई देगा. जैसा सेल मेम्ब्रेन का शेप होगा उसके अकॉर्डिंगली ही शेप ऑफ सेल विल बी सीन. सो these are the functions of cell membrane. Next we will discuss about cell wall. Fine. Here next topic, again it is very important topic, that is cell wall. So we can say cell wall is present only in plant cell. किस में होता है ये? सिर्फ किस में प्रेजेंट होता है? प्लांट सेल में होता है. बट लेकिन प्लांट सेल के सिवा बाकी सेल्स में, बाकी में ये नहीं होता है. प्लांट सेल किस, सेल वॉल कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है? सेल वॉल ऑलवेज प्रेजेंट इन प्लांट्स. ओके, सेल वॉल कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है? सेल वॉल प्रेजेंट इन प्लांट्स ओनली, इट प्रेजेंट इन प्लांट्स. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. सेल मेम्ब्रेन, सी सेल मेम्ब्रेन दोनों टाइप के सेल में होता है, आइदर इट इज़ ह्यूमन सेल और प्लांट सेल, है ना. एनिमल सेल की बात हो या प्लांट सेल की बात हो, दोनों टाइप के सेल में सेल मेम्ब्रेन होता है. बट इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट सेल वॉल प्रेजेंट ओनली इन प्लांट्स. ओके, सेल वॉल प्रेजेंट ओनली इन प्लांट्स. इट इज़ आउटर टू सेल मेम्ब्रेन. दैट मीन्स जो हमने अभी अभी बात की, this internal part, this internal green line is called cell membrane, right? But outer of the cell membrane के भी जो बाहर वाला part है, which is surrounded by the cell membrane, that wall is called cell wall. Fine. And that is present only in plants. Clear? Again I am repeating, cell membrane is present in both type of the organism, either it is animal cell or plant cell, but cell wall is only present in plants, right? It is made up of cellulose and it is dead, है ना. Previously we talked about cell membrane की जो wall होती है वो living होती है, but cell wall is always in dead tissues, made up of dead tissues. It is made up of cellulose. Generally cell wall is made up of cellulose. Clear? किसकी बनी होती है cell wall? It is made up of cellulose. It is freely permeable. What is that? It is freely permeable. Freely permeable, just we talked about सेमी प्रीमेबल रिगार्डिंग सेल मेम्ब्रेन में हमने बात की थी कि वो उसकी जो वॉल होती है वो सेमी परमेबल होती है. दैट मीन्स ओनली अलाउ सिलेक्टिव पार्टिकल्स. बट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट सेल वॉल, दिस इज फ्रीली प्रीमेबल. व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज फ्रीली प्रीमेबल. दैट मीन्स it allow all types of substance pass through. Okay, जो cell wall बाहर है, मतलब सबसे बाहर वाला part, that is called cell wall. तो वो वाला अंदर particles को आने भी दे रहा है और जाने भी दे रहा है, isn't it? Particles are passed through by the cell wall. So we can say it is freely permeable. That means it can allow all types of substance pass through by the cell wall, isn't it? But cell membrane, it is semi permeable. That means it allows selective particles to pass through. Fine. So we can say what are the functions of cell wall. Just now we had talked about cell wall. Cell wall are only present in plants. It provides mechanical support to the cell. Again, it provides support to the cell. It allows materials to exchange. That means just now we discussed about freely permeable. That means उसमें भी materials का exchange हो रहा है ना. And it maintain obvious shape of the cell. That means जो सेल वॉल है वापस अगेन लाइक सेल मेम्ब्रेन इट सपोर्ट टू द शेप ऑफ द सेल. क्लियर. Now one more important that I want to discuss, I already discussed that the plant cell is made up of cellulose, है ना. तो सेल्यूलोस का बना होता है, उससे उसका क्या रीज़न है, क्यों सेल्यूलोस का बना होता है. तो हमने अभी भी बात की जब एनिमल सेल है वो सेल्यूलोस का नहीं बना होता, बट प्लांट सेल में सेल वॉल होता है एंड इट इज़ मेड अप ऑफ सेल्यूलोस एंड इट इज़ मेड अप ऑफ डेड टिश्यूज. सो व्हाट इज़ द नीड ऑफ इट, वी कैन से it is made surrounded by cell membrane. Cell membrane की surround में होता है plant cell wall, isn't it, and is required by plant for protection. उसका क्या नीड है, प्लांट के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए ज़रूरत है. जो सेल वॉल है, सेल मेम्ब्रेन तो सारे टाइप के ऑर्गेनिजम्स में है ना, बट इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट सेल वॉल, सो व्हाट इज़ द नीड ऑफ सेल वॉल इन प्लांट्स. प्लांट्स में नीड क्या है उसकी, सो वी कैन से इट इज़ रिक्वायर्ड बाय प्लांट्स फॉर protection, because plant cells need protection against variation of the atmosphere, isn't it, variation in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture. So due to these conditions, plant cell needed cell wall, that is the protection wall, and is made up of cellulose. Clear. So till here we have completed the structure of cell, that is divided into two parts, cell membrane and protoplasm. Today we have discussed about cell membrane. In next video lecture we will discuss about protoplasm, and protoplasm that we already know, that is again further divided in cytoplasm and nucleus. So in next video lecture we will detail study about protoplasm, and protoplasm which is having two another parts, that is called cytoplasm and nucleus. Till that, take care, goodbye, and thanks for the watching. Please, if you like the video, like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.